And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Friday, March 29th. Let's head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Howdy and welcome. Here we are on a Friday morning, and we welcome you to our program presented by Wilson Bank and Trust. This morning, we're going to be talking investments, and Damon Bates is with us, the branch manager for Raymond James at Wilson Bank and Trust. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
I got that about right?
Yeah, right on it.
All right, okay. Well, it's good to have you with us again.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
You were telling us before we went on air here, you started in, I believe you said 2015.
Yes, sir.
So you've had about 9 years doing what you're doing now, actually taking the place that Larry Squires occupied, getting things started for the first time in ever. But when you come, we talk about investments and affiliation with Raymond James. So what is it today?
Well, kind of the same story. I mean, right now we're in the finishing touches of tax season, and we get a lot of interest at this point in time, making sure people are doing the right things to take advantage of taxes, to where they're not paying as much, or making sure they're getting all their contributions into their retirement plans, anything that they can take advantage of. That's kind of on top of mind right now.
Well, we are here on the what today's the 29th, I think. Anyway, we're on the last Friday in the month of April, and come next Monday we'll have April the 1st, and then it's April 15th and tax time. But you don't wait till April 15th to do what you're talking about.
No, in a lot of retirement plans, or especially IRAs, the government gives you until the tax deadline to get in your contributions for the year before. So you have up until that tax deadline to make your IRA contributions for 2023. And so it gives people a little bit more time and flexibility to think about that, to make sure they're taking advantage of that before they file the returns.
Yeah. Well, we know that the end of 2023 looked good. This year has looked good. Most investments are a little bit better than they were even 6 months ago.
They definitely have.
A lot of them are. A lot of them are.
Yeah, and the broad market has picked up. For last year was more about, they call them basically there were 6 stocks of the S&P 500 that contributed to more than 80% of the return. If you own just those 6, you did fantastic. But most people are a lot more diversified than that and own more things than that. So you still did very well last year, but it's a little bit of it's not apples to apples when you talk about, hey, the market did almost 30% return last year, 25%, and because most people's portfolios didn't do that. So if you just owned NVIDIA or Facebook, then you might have done that, but it's not really like that. But this year we've seen the broad market pick up. So a lot of the rest of those stocks that didn't really do much last year, they've really picked up steam the first 2 to 3 months of this year. I can't tell you if that's going to be sustainable. It's kind of weird to think of all the variables that's going on in the marketplace, from the geopolitical tension to we're still fighting the rest of inflation. We still have higher interest rates, all those things that negatively impact the market, and the market's kind of shrugged it off so far. And we're in an election year. So all those different variables, I think, will sooner than later probably have a little bit of volatility in the markets. But I would say things are better today than what they were 1 year ago.
Well, I tend to think, and think that you would agree with this, that still diversification is pretty much the key. You don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Oh, you're 100% correct. And that's why last year we talked about the returns being a little bit misleading, but overall the balanced investor has definitely come out ahead throughout history. Because we don't know where one specific area is going to be better than the other. If I knew that, I would not be sitting here. But by diversifying, you mitigate risk, and you take advantage of when those market areas do better maybe in one area than another, and it spreads it out that way.
Do you have, and are you looking for younger investors? I would think you are. You've been around almost as long as Wilson Bank with them, and what you certainly encourage young people to start early.
Yeah, we see that the number one factor for I guess greater wealth later on in life is consistency. It's starting a plan and sticking to it. A lot of times we see that it's just becomes too easy or too quick to judge somebody if they're having a tough time in their budget. The first thing they eliminate a lot of times maybe is their savings plan or investment plan or retirement plan. We see the earlier somebody starts, and it doesn't take a lot of money to just stay with it every month, it can add up to some very big sums later on down in life.
You are happy to help people and new people and help them get started and help create wealth.
Yes, we've got almost 30 people on our team now. We definitely take care of all of Middle Tennessee, and I think we've got clients in, I think, 37 of the 50 U.S. states. So we take care of a pretty big footprint, and it's all walks of life. So from the new investor to somebody who's retiring or estate planning or a business owner, anybody in between.
So I take it anybody wants to take advantage of this, just come by any of the branches and talk to somebody and get on their way.
Yeah, you can look us up. You can call any bank branch, or our direct number 615-443-6509. And no matter where you live, we can make sure we get somebody to take care of you.
All right. We've talked about investments. There's a little disclaimer I guess you better tell us about.
Yes, sir. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial, member FINRA, SIPC, are not guaranteed by Wilson Bank and Trust, subject to risk and may lose value, not a deposit, not insured by FDIC or any government agency.
Damon, it's always good to see you. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Damon J. Bates, MBA, branch manager, financial advisor, Wilson Bank and Trust Investment Services. And it is Wilson Bank and Trust, member FDIC, still here, still independent, still committed to you. Excellence in banking since 1987. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are 11 minutes after the hour. It is Friday. It is time for our Friday Senate Report.
Good morning, Coleman. What a great day.
All right. Senator Mark Pody, how are you?
Coleman, I'm doing good. It's end of the month, and we are really starting to wind things down at the Capitol. We're actually a little bit earlier than what I had anticipated. All of our committees are closed that I serve on, and we've only got a couple left, and they're on their final calendars this coming week, except for finance. So looking ahead, I know we could be out of here in just a few weeks, so it's 2 to 3 more weeks, we could be done. I think the House is a little bit behind us, though.
You think it will go maybe close to the end of April?
Right now, I'd be looking at probably April 20-something. I just don't know what, but we could be out April 21st, 22nd.
Well, I guess you know that your end date has to do with my appointment calendar.
Yeah. And we will keep you posted.
We do have Senator Pody here every Friday during the legislative session. We alternate Mondays with Representative Clark Boyd and Susan Lynn, and I believe it's Clark Boyd's turn come Monday. But we want to know what's been happening today, and I've got an apology I'm going to make. But before I get to it, I'm going to do that as soon as we come back from our 7:15 break, which will be 2 or 3 more minutes. It involves yesterday. And if Hamlet Halbert is listening, it pertains to him. And if he's not, I hope somebody calls him and tells him turn his radio on right quick. But anyway, Senator, what else happened this week?
All right, so this is the last week that we actually have a board. I have an advisory board that I meet with them every Thursday. We go over bills. They are absolutely invaluable in helping us, and I want to thank the board. This is 14 years we've done this now, and they've been so helpful in reading bills, giving us a good footing of what the community feels on the bills we're going to be voting on. But now the committees are done, it's just things that are going to be coming to the floor, and most of them we've already gotten an opportunity to read and so forth and discuss. So we're working through that way, so I want to thank the board. Today I'm going to be going down to meet with some people from Israel, the Israeli consulate and such. They're coming to Nashville and to meet with a few legislators and such to actually kind of share what's going on in Israel and what we can be doing in Tennessee to be helping and supporting them.
Well, let me ask this: we've had some some people who are anti-Israel in this country who have shown up in different places and protested and been quite ugly to some people, and you've made no bones about where you stand. Have you had any of that?
I have, and I've had people that are frustrated with me because of my stance for Israel. But I'm going to stand with them. I think, first of all, it's biblically right to do that. In Genesis, it talks about that. Those nations that stand with Israel will be blessed. Those that curse Israel will be cursed. It was interesting to see what actually happened with one of the legislators in Turkey, that he actually kind of was cursing Israel and gave his speech, and before he went to his seat, he actually died. And that happened, last year. It was just so ironic on how that happened. But yes, I'll be standing with Israel, and I'll be going down to meet with them again today.
Okay, it's time for us to take a break. We'll do that right here. Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota. They'll help you rent the right tool for the job. The Kubota Orange Rental Program makes it easy to rent the right equipment. Stop by Absolute Kubota, check out the U35 excavator or the SVL 75 compact track loader, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. A little bit of volume in the last 15, 20 minutes coming down 65 through Millersville, through that section of Sumner County, further up north there. In Robertson County, there's some radar up through there earlier, just south of the Kentucky state line, as traffic picks up just a bit over here in Hermitage. Keeping an eye on 24 as that traffic also increases just a bit there on 24 West coming out of Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, up through the Antioch area. Again, traffic a little bit lighter than normal. A lot of folks are taking the day off. Prince's Hot Chicken now has new items on their awesome menu. Check it out. princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sunshine. Spring is in the air.
Yes, spring is a reminder of how beautiful change can truly be.
Do you need a change? Call us to help you buy or sell a home.
You're only here for a short visit. Don't hurry. Don't worry. Be sure to smell the flowers along the way.
And remember, don't make a move without us.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmensholler at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team 443-3130.
We continue here, our Friday Senate Report. Thanks for joining us. Our thanks to Senator Mark Cody for being with us. I told you earlier I had an apology to make this morning, and here's kind of what happened yesterday. And let me grab my cell phone.
Coleman, you are always carrying things on here, and you do such a great job for the community. I just want to give you a shout out for what you do.
Well, thank you. But what yesterday, I was expecting to have Representative Michael Hale on, and he had sent me a text, but I don't hardly ever look at my telephone but after 6 o'clock in the morning. And he said, with my breathing still shallow, I'm afraid that I will sound terrible trying to do an interview this morning. Can we move it later? And so I did not know this, and we made do with him not being here. And I had this note here yesterday, 9/91, Thursday, Hamlet Halbert, his birthday. And even his son, Tim, had called Judge Tatum to get to me to make sure we wished him a happy birthday. And then even on the second half, things were a little bit discombobulated there, and I just totally forgot it. So let me say this about the Halberts were wonderful people. They lived halfway between Centerville and Taylorsville. There were 10 of those, as I recall, and Hamlet would have been, I believe, number 8, and he had 2 younger brothers, Robert and John, who are now deceased, but knew him quite well. He was in the 8th grade when I was in the 1st grade, and when he played football at Lebanon High, sometimes he would catch a ride home with my daddy. That back then, they practiced till dark, maybe, and in October and November, and we didn't have daylight saving time then. I don't think it could get dark pretty early, and sometimes he would ride home with my daddy. I know that. But anyway, just a happy belated birthday this morning to Hamlet Halbert, 91 yesterday, and I'm so sorry that I forgot to do it yesterday. I hope you're hearing it today. I hope we're still friends.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? Debbie listens to me talking, and I'm going to tell her that we want to do a special thing at the state of Tennessee in his honor, okay, wishing him a 91st happy birthday. So Debbie will be doing this and getting it to you so you can make sure you take it over from the state of Tennessee.
All right. Well, I hope that makes up for yesterday. Yesterday on Coleman and Company wasn't my best day. We'll just leave it at that. But there are good days and bad days. Well, so what's happened? I know I've been on this a lot with all of you, but I think it's something we're all kind of wondering, concerned about, the school voucher thing. Where are we?
So we are a long way apart right now. And in fact, I was giving an update to the board yesterday, and I said the differences between the two versions, between the Senate version and the House version, is a long way, and we're actually starting to close things down. So unless we can come together, it doesn't look like it would happen this year. The Senate version would cost about $75 million. The House version is $442 million. So the difference is we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars in a tight budget year. Coming up with that money and where that's going to be is something that would be a real lift across the board. So I'm telling you, I think it's in trouble at this point.
Who's going to be the most disappointed if nothing happens here?
The governor. This is the governor's number one legislative agenda was this. So the governor is putting a lot of thought, time, resources into this right now, and it's his number one objective at this point. So,
some of the school system's going to be the happiest?
Some will. I know that a lot of people are feeling this is money coming out of public school, but none of this money was coming or earmarked for public schools K through 12 anyway. So this was not K through 12 money. If they didn't go, it's going to go right back into higher education or somewhere along those lines. So it's not going into public education. This is not money that was earmarked for the K through 12 systems.
Well, now, we know, and I appreciate your insight here, and I'm not disputing you in any way, but what I am thinking, sometimes deals get put together at the last minute, and there's some give and take, some compromise on both sides and so on. What Are there much chance of this happening?
There is a chance, but I can tell you that over the last couple of years, the Senate and the House have had their differences in the past. In fact, when we had a special session, the Senate had like 5 different bills they were saying that they're going to pass, and the House had over 100. And so the House had said, we're going to pass all these bills, whatever the Senate's going to do, the Senate's going to do. We didn't take any of them up. So we said no, and we didn't take anything that they were doing up. This has happened in the past before, even before that, when we were in session, we said this is where our stand is, and we're not going to be changing. Either you're going to be comfortable with it or not. And the House they didn't change, and we didn't get that either. So I can be pretty blunt that the Senate is not interested in spending hundreds of millions of dollars on this. I don't think that has any appetite in the Senate whatsoever. So unless there's some major changes, I don't think it's going to happen. And the House, I've heard, is very much adamant that they want to be putting a whole lot more money and resources in than what the state has. We just don't have that money at this point.
Now, where's the governor come on this? Does he favor one of these over the other?
So, yes, he put in $144 million. So where the Senate even cut that down to 75, and so the governors were at 75, he had 144, and the House has 442 million. So there's 3 different plans out there, and by far the Senate's going to be the most conservative. We're putting the least amount of money into this program.
I still playing what if the governor said, all right, I want something done, I'm going to go with the Senate plan, and started pushing it.
That's going to be a real lift to get the House to where they are. It's a tough vote, and anything can happen, and we've seen deals come together in the past, so it's not completely over. But at this point, it is definitely running into serious troubles. And when you have the governor's number one bill, number one legislative issue, and it just looks like it's in trouble from our point of view right now. We'll have to see what happens on that.
Okay, enough of that. What else? You got a few things I know you want to talk about.
The next thing is going to be TSU. So this was pretty major use, okay? And they come before us. So they're going to come between 2 different committees. One of them is government operations, and the other one is going to be the education committees. So I've been on government operations a couple of years ago, and they came in and they had a horrible report, absolutely horrible on how they're spending their money. And then they're coming between education, and they're the worst university in the state of Tennessee as far as taking the kids and graduating them. They have more dropouts that don't finish the program than anybody else. So it's hard to be saying that, hey, that your guy's doing a good job or whatever. We tried to warn them. We tried to give them ample time to say, you've got to get your act together. You've got to do some changes to keep the kids that you're recruiting in his school and help them graduate. You can't just say we've got a great, huge freshman class and they don't finish the program. So we've tried for years to get them to do that. The last comptroller's audit came out, and that just happened, in the last week, and it had major issues again. Over 50 some observations, and we've got to take some action. So we've said we're going to replace the board and get a new board in, and the governor's already made some of those appointments, and they're getting a new president, and they're going to say we're going to get this university going back on the track it needed to be. Now, it's unique and with an understanding that they have not had the funding that they should have had. And so let's go back to over 30 years ago, and they have not been getting the fair amount of funding that they needed to get. I'm going to say that that's a given. We can see that. But they didn't get it when Democrats were in control. As soon as Republicans took control, we started making up that funding and giving it to them. And so when they're saying, well, we didn't get the funding, and we got to say, well, wait a minute, you didn't get the funding underneath the Democratic leadership. Now that the Republicans are in charge, we are giving you this funding, and we're trying to make up all the funding that you didn't get in the past. But even some of the funding that they've gotten, they've not been spending it wisely. The last year that what they did is they went out and they recruited just many new people to come in, but they didn't have a place for them to come in to live. So there was no dorms available. They had to literally rent hotels out, and they rented the entire hotel out. And they said, then we're coming to give you guys, we need you to pay for those hotel rooms. And we're saying, you want us to rent an entire hotel, not one, but 6 hotels downtown Nashville for your students because you didn't plan ahead of time. That's just not good. Not good at all. So we've replaced that board, and we're going to replace the president.
You feel good about the future?
Oh, yes.
At least somewhat positive?
I do. This is a good university. It just needs some good leadership going forward. And I think the board members that were there were good people, but they weren't taking an active role in overseeing what was going on. And we need people that, if they're appointed to a board, that they're going to take this serious. It's not just an appointment in name only. You've got to be serious, and you got to take action and do what's required.
Be any repercussions from those who are being dismissed?
Yes, there are, and I get that. There's some people that'll say, "Hey, this is a historically black university, and now you're trying to change it and such," and that's just not true. Any of the universities that if they had this kind of track record, they would have been replaced years ago. And we've tried to give them every opportunity, every single opportunity, extra money, whatever we could do to support them. They've just not made those changes.
Okay. We got about 3 minutes.
Okay, so let me hit budget. And this is a tight budget year. This is stuff that's happening in Wilson County. So I put in between myself, Susan Lynn, Clark Boyd, we've asked for some extra money here of things that we needed. One of them was for Judge Tatum. And he met with us and said, Mark, we've got some serious issues on funding issues. So Clark and I have put in an $8 million budget request to help some of the things to help defend people that need defense and so forth. And if you've been appointed to be an attorney to help somebody, the funding on that level is very low, like $75 an hour. Some of the people that are doing interpreting in the courts make more than the attorneys do, and that's not right. So we've asked to do that. We've done Wilson Rides. That's something that we put in a request to help Wilson here. I've also put in some money for the fair. I've asked for $2 million for the building that's going to be going on, what can all happen in the learning center on the fairgrounds. But I can tell you, I met with the finance people. It doesn't look like we're going to have any. as much as we're working for it, the entire legislature got $25 million. All of us combined between the House and the Senate, that's all the money there is $25 million. So these requests that I have that we put in is $11 million. So we just know that that's not going to go anywhere. So they're going to be looking for statewide projects that'll be affecting everybody across the state, and they'll be dividing that between the House and the Senate. Because there's just no money, it's hard to get anything through appropriations at this point.
What's next few years look like in this regard? Is this kind of a one-time thing, or are we going to be having to do belt tightening for 4, 5, 6 years?
Probably 2 years yet. We're anticipating another tight year next year. There's nothing on the horizon that's saying this is going to change next year. So we're already saying what's going to look like going in next year. We're making those adjustments right now. Do not overspend. Make sure anything we're doing is for legitimate long-term gains that we can sustain.
Okay, we got to live with this.
Yes.
But does the franchise excise tax thing have much to do with this?
It definitely is going to cost us $1 billion and then of one-time funding, and then $400 million per year going on. And that is another reason why what we do here matters. And I've got to say, we want to be watching. And one of the bills that I wanted so bad was for our transportation, to get some of that money into the transportation, into our roads. And, I thought that was my number one piece of legislation this year, trying to go in. But we just don't have the money. And I've got to turn around and I got to kind of agree here. If I didn't have the franchise tax being that going on at the same time, I think I could have gotten the transportation one done. We've got to get more money for roads, but we'll look at it again next year and bring that same bill back next year.
Okay. We've reached the end of our time here this morning, but thank you so much for being with us. Do it again next Friday.
Thanks, Coleman.
All right. Senator Mark Pody, our Friday Senate report. We've got more. We hope you'll keep it here, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day up to 30 days after the sale. There'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic still looking good right now. 24 as you come out of Murfreesboro, Rutherford County up through the Antioch area. Normally that would be pretty heavy this time of the morning. A lot of folks are off today. You can tell out here traffic's lighter than it normally would be for a Friday morning, but it did pick up the last few minutes. 65 southbound down through Millersville, trying to get down through that section of Sumner County. Watch for radar out here in the Mount Juliet area and I-40 out in Dixon County. Quite a bit out there around 840. Princess Hot Chicken now has new items on their new menu. Check it out this weekend at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
For more than 36 years, Wilson Bank and Trust has been proud to serve communities all across Tennessee. As an independent local bank, we provide banking products competitive with large banks, but delivered with personalized local service. Wilson Bank and Trust has been community-focused since 1987 and looks forward to many more. Discover the power of local community banking that truly makes a difference. Give us a call or come on by any of our local 30 locations or visit wilsonbank.com to learn more. Member FDIC.
Sunshine expected through the day today, warming up to about 71. Overnight, partly cloudy, low down to about 50. For Saturday, mostly sunny and 77 with gusty southwest winds. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction of real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm Stormy Clausen.
Welcome you to part 2 of Coleman and Company here on a Friday morning. It's time for us to talk about the C&Z team, Exit Rocky Top Realty. We just got Medina this morning. Miss Medina, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Medina Himmentoler, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Of course, it's always good to have somebody here for the C&Z team, Exit Rocky Top Realty, located at 1330 West Main here in Lebanon. Great people, great service, people you can trust. And how are you?
I'm wonderful on this Good Friday morning.
All right. Well, let's hear what you got for us.
Well, just wanted to tell everybody Happy Easter and have a Good Friday today. And tonight is we're having a Good Friday service at Emmanuel Baptist Church at 6 o'clock. If anyone would like to attend, we're going to be having that tonight. And then, of course, Sunday services Sunday morning. So want everybody to have a good weekend and enjoy their family time together. And some offices are closed today. Our office is closed, but our phones are working. So we're always available and to show property.
That's one of the things we say about you, that somebody answers that phone 24/7.
That's right, yes.
Even on days when the office is closed.
Exactly. And sometimes when the office is closed, that's some of our busiest days because people are in visiting family and they're thinking of moving here or moving down the street or whatever, and they want to see homes. So, or property, either one. So some properties I wanted to talk about today is we have properties that are land only, and then we have properties that are commercial, and then we have properties that have homes on them. We have them anywhere in Wilson County, and then we travel east to Crossville, which is Cumberland County. So if you're looking at a resort property, we have lots in Fairfield Glade and Lake Tansy in Crossville. Mm-hmm. And each of those lots, they're not big lots because those are resort properties. So people that have resort properties don't have a lot of yard to mow and a lot of property to take care of.
Spend more time playing golf.
Exactly.
Crossville.
So these two properties, one in Fairfield and one in Lake Tansy, each of those are under $10,000. So you could have the property, just have it and then build on it later, or build on it now, or however, or just keep the property. But each of those are both less than $10,000 each. But you have a resort property. So if you're interested in that, give us a call. We also have a house in Crossville that is it's 1.28 acres. And it is the, excuse me, it is listed at $279,900. So it's a little bit over 1,500 square feet, and it's got 3 bedrooms and 3 full baths. It has a 2-car detached garage with a shop, and then a 2-car carport that's attached to the house. It has a wraparound deck. It's been totally remodeled. It has a basement with a bathroom in the basement, and like I said, it has mature trees. It's on the countryside of Crossville. And so if you're looking for a house in Crossville under the 300 mark, give us a call. This one is $279,900. So give us a call on that one. Then if you want to stay in Wilson County, then we have property such as land. We have it anywhere from 1 acre or half acre all the way to 10 acres. So give us a call on that one. The one we have on Canesville Road, it does not perk, but it would be great for recreational vehicles. It could even be a cemetery if somebody wanted to do a cemetery there. You could do hunting, anything like that on that property. It just does not perk, but it's 10 acres and it's listed at $299,000. So give us a call there. If you're looking for commercial property, we have commercial property on Highway 109. It's 2.6 acres with a 4,800 square foot building and a 2,000 square foot building. It used to be an auto body shop. So if you're looking something like that, give us a call there. If you're looking for a home to live in Wilson County, then we have multiple options. We have different price ranges. We have it starting from $279,900 all the way up to $879,900. Mm-hmm. And the $879,900 is in Five Oaks. And it's a beautiful home. It won Southern Living Home of the Year, House Plan of the Year. And it's a great home. It's got a lot of showing activity. It's only been on the market 2 days. It had a lot of showing activity, but it is 4 bedrooms and 3.5 baths. It has a formal dining room, a wraparound deck as well, screened-in back porch, move-in ready. I mean, it's freshly painted. Everything is, and it was a custom-built home by Tim Tomlinson. So give us a call. It's on the corner of Ridgecrest and Five Oaks Circle. So give us a call there. We have a house on Windmere and Westview Acres. It's got a new price of $475,000. So give us a call there. And then if you're looking for land, we have a commercial property on South College Street. And
you've got all kinds.
All kinds. So like I said, we have a little bit of everything. If our sign is not in the yard, but you would like to see it, you give us a call. We'd be glad to show it to you.
All right. Well, that phone number we try to remind you each week is 615-443-3130. Mm-hmm. And you will be answering the phone today. Office is going to be closed.
Oh, that's right.
But
that's right.
You're ready to go if somebody needs you.
I'm ready and my phone's ready. As long as it's charged, we're good.
All right. Well, have a great weekend. I guess we'll do it again next Friday.
Yes, we will. And remember, Coleman, even on Good Friday, remember, don't make a move without us.
Thank you so much. Medina Himentola at C&D Team, Exit Rocky Top Realty. We're right now 22 before the hour, and I want to welcome this morning 2 people. Well, actually, we're going to have 3, I guess, but that remains to be seen. But we have Playhouse 615 with us again, and Joel Merworthy. Good morning.
Good morning, Walker. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to see you. Nice to have you with us.
Thank
you. We
you.
have Erin Grace. Erin, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having us.
We'll do the other a little bit later, but you've got a production of Playhouse 615 that you want to talk to us about today.
Yes. We are doing a world premiere adaptation of a Heinrich Ibsen classic called Hedda Gabler. It was originally written in 1890 and set in Norway, and Erin Grace has adapted it for a modern audience.
Mm-hmm.
And Heinrich Ibsen was considered by many theater scholars to be the father of modern drama, and he wrote all of these serious, academic, highbrow pieces of theater in the 1800s. And we talked to Erin Grace, and she said, let me rewrite an adaptation for a modern audience, and so that's what we're doing. And we opened Friday, April the 5th.
Which is next Friday.
A week from today, yes.
Right. Well, tell us the location of your theater.
We are at 11920 Lebanon Road in Mount Juliet in the Midway Center. It's sort of a low-slung shopping district right on Lebanon Road in Mount Juliet.
Now, how far is it from the county line?
Oh, well, I would say we are probably 5 miles from the Davidson-Wilson County line.
All right.
Coming back toward Lebanon.
Mm-hmm. Right. But what, between Mount Juliet Road and the county line?
We are pinpointed right between Mount Juliet Road and Nonneville Road.
Okay. All right. Now
we're about a mile west of the Starbucks.
All right. Now we know kind of where you are. Well, Erin, tell us about yourself first of all. I mean, you've got to be you've got to know a few things to adapt something like this. You've had some experience either in the theater, or in writing, or in literature, this sort of thing.
I do, yes. I'm a proud Nashville graduate myself. I graduated from Belmont University with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in theater, with emphasis in both performance and direction. And it was there that I got my interest in playwriting, and I've had the privilege to have a couple of plays that I've written, produced now, but I'm particularly proud of this one and the message that it sends to its audience.
Well, now, is this a first time for this to be presented to the public in this manner?
It is, yes. It's been a really great experience. About a year ago, Joel approached me about playing Hedda Gabler, and we talked about the show and the importance of its meaning, but making sure that the message of being human and what that means comes across clear to its audience. And so we decided that it would be beneficial to come up with a modern adaptation.
How long did it take you to adapt?
We've been working on it since about a year ago when we originally talked about it. And it's gone through many different versions. A new play is always fun to write. And it's changed even in the last week, adapting words to fit into the actors' mouths in the best way. We want to make sure that everything that we say is not only clear, but also natural for each actor to say.
Well, I think Joel mentioned, but I don't recall. When was this originally done? What year? Approximately what year?
Ibsen wrote it in 1890.
Oh, okay. So
a long time ago.
So 130 years ago, something like that. Yeah, maybe a little longer. How difficult was the adaptation?
Well, there are a lot of different adaptations already out there of this show. especially from the fact that it was originally written in the Norwegian language and was adapted to French and then English.
And you're fluent in Norwegian and French.
Oh, my goodness. I wish I was. Unfortunately, I can't. I don't think I'm quite that smart. But I wish that I was. But
I was being facetious.
But I spent a lot of time reading a lot of other direct translations and adaptations from other famous playwrights. And part of the reason we decided to adapt it ourselves is because this is considered a feminist play. It is a woman's story, and there aren't a lot of adaptations out there of this play that are written by women. And so we thought that was important. It's important as well.
What's unique about your adaptation?
Well, Hedda Gabler is she's a newlywed woman in her mid-20s. And in the original, of course, it was written in the 1890s. But what's unique about this adaptation is there aren't many adaptations of it out there that are written by women who have that point of view. And so this one, being a woman in my mid-20s, has sort of taken it and adapted it from that point of view and put it in a vernacular that is more palatable, I think, to modern audience.
Well, what about casting, people playing the parts in this? Whose job is that? Is that yours, Joel?
I did cast it, but with a lot of input from Erin Grace, because she had certain people that she wanted us to use, and I was happy to follow her lead. And I had certain people in certain roles that I wanted to use, and so it was a joint effort in casting.
Okay, the premiere, the first, and how many of these are you doing, by the way?
We have 12 performances.
Okay, but the first one will be a week from?
Today, April the 5th.
And what time does it begin?
7:30 p.m.
All right, and this will be in Mount Juliet, of course, Playhouse 615. What's it cost to attend?
$20 for, it's $20 or $17 for military students or seniors.
Okay. All right. With that, we need to take our break. We'll talk more with Joel and Erin and maybe more others who are with us after we go to a break here on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, get a battery installed in most vehicles. $149.95. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We still see a little bit of volume trying to sneak down through Millersville right now on 65 southbound. As you come through that section of Sumner County, it's not bad actually on 24, where it would normally be heavy westbound. 24 out of Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, up into Antioch. That looks pretty good up through there. Now, there is lots of radar out here to make up for the less traffic volume. Be careful down I-40 in Dixon County, out there in Wilson County, Mount Juliet area especially. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services. Right here in Middle Tennessee, it's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hey, this is Dr. Derek Gregory, and I'm proud to announce to you the opening of our brand new dental practice, Gregory Dental Group, at 1746 West Main Street, just across the road from Sports Village. Come experience modern dentistry at its best. We're always welcoming new patients, and I truly look forward to taking the best care of all your dental needs. Come by or call us today.
That's Gregory Dental Group, 615-444-0322, or online at myLebanonTNDentist.com. Gregory Dental Group, compassion, knowledge, skill.
And again, good morning. Welcome to Coleman & Company, our final segment here on this Friday morning. Let me repeat one thing I did earlier in part one this morning, and that is apologize for missing out on saying happy birthday to Hamlet Halbert yesterday. He was 91 yesterday, and I've known him really all my life. Lived out at the Centerville, Taylorsville area. His son, Tim, works the Sheriff's Department, I think. And anyway, Hamlet, sorry we missed you yesterday, but hope you had a great one and doing well today. And one good thing going to come out of this, Senator Pody is going to make sure that you get a little extra recognition, but we making up for the mistake yesterday. Now, back to our cast of three who are with us this morning. We have Joel Merriweather, we have Erin Grace, and Ann Street Kavanaugh is with us as well. Ann, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Well, we were debating whether you were going to talk or not, but you've decided to join us. What's your opinion, your take on what we're talking about here? This Playhouse 15's performance of Hedda Gabler, which is written by Heinrich Ibsen in 1890 and adapted by Erin Grace for this presentation.
I think the beauty of this play is that even though it is so old, has been written so long ago, the theme of it is so contemporary. And the way Erin Grace has seen it and rewritten it, changed his words a bit, but it is so contemporary and so today, the theme of it. And I think
that probably is the difference between success and failure in something like this. It is a modern adaptation.
It is a modern adaptation, and the fact that his words do translate even this many years later into something that just is so beautiful and works so well. Because a lot of playwrights or script writers, that kind of thing, their work kind of will die after so long because it's just not thematic anymore. It's not, did I use that correctly? It's just not contemporary, for the times.
Right.
And his ideas and his words, even though she's translated it to a more, as you said, vernacular way that just comes right out of the mouth, just the fact that the whole theme of it is still so relevant today.
All right, we want to remind everybody this is going to be at Playhouse 615 in Mount Juliet, and somewhere between Mount Juliet Road and Nonneville Road on Highway 70.
Yes, that's correct.
You got to get the general idea. Then, of course, you can Google it as well, I guess. But we just want to remind you that performances will run from April 5th through the 28th, Fridays and Saturdays at 7:30 and 2:30 p.m. on Sundays, and it all starts next Friday. And that address is 11920 Lebanon Road. 11920 11920. That's the way I want to say it. Lebanon Road, Mount Juliet, in the Midway Center. And again, tickets are $20. They're on sale through the theater's website, www.playhouse615.com. Now, the way you came up with Playhouse 615, the name of your group, is quite interesting, too.
Well, yes.
Tell us about that.
After the March 2020 tornado, Ann and I were sitting around thinking about coming up with, we wanted to start a theater company, and we were trying to figure out what we would call ourselves. And Ann has always loved the name Playhouse.
Yeah.
I have.
And as opposed to theater or theater company or any of the other vernacular. And I said, well, we are in the 615 area code. Why don't we just call ourselves Playhouse 615? And the name just stuck. It worked.
It did.
And really, it's Playhouse 615, not Playhouse 615.
Either way.
Hey, you buy your ticket, we'll say it however you want to.
Don't get too hung up on trivials here.
Nope.
Well, I want to get back to Erin here because I have an idea. Not everybody could do what you have done here with your background and the desire to come up with something like this and to take something that was written in 1890 and adapt it so that it is not only appropriate, but something that people would like in this day, because something that's that old and you said it was written in Norwegian, I believe, and into
Yes, that's
French
correct.
and whatever. But we don't always. I mean, everybody doesn't like Shakespeare, and that's old English. But anyway, you're able to take this and make a modern adaptation out of it, which I think says a lot for you. But and you said you've done this about a year and still made a change even yesterday, maybe.
Oh yes, the beauty but also hard thing about new plays is that they are constantly changing, pretty much until they're published, because I grew such an appreciation for text work when I was in college because I had wonderful professors who really created an environment where they wanted the most important part of theater to be telling a story, and that was the most important part to me with this production. Is to me, it doesn't matter what tone or what vernacular you tell the story in, but it needs to be impactful. And the thing about this adaptation is what's making it impactful is that it's familiar. You know, it was originally written in the 1890s, but we're using cell phones. We're dressing in modern clothing. We're using things that people see in their house every day. And I think because of that, and because there aren't these distractions of the spectacle of period costumes and grand pianos, that there's this familiarity that where the audience can pay more attention to what's being said on stage rather than what's happening around them.
If this goes over well and maybe the right person sees it or something, I mean, could this go to a lot bigger places? I mean, would this maybe be a goal of yours, something at least you'd love to see happen, maybe a dream of yours?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if the right person came along and said that they would like to publish this play or work with me on other adaptations in the future, I mean, that would mean the world to me. But really, I'm just doing this because I'm passionate about the story that Ibsen told, and I think that it's one that not only I but a lot of people can resonate with, no matter their age or their background. And so telling that story is more important to me than anything. But I mean, hey, if it took me somewhere, I wouldn't complain. Sure.
All right, I will want to get to how many people appear on stage, the casting. Somebody, I guess you, Joel, tell us about that.
Well, it's a cast of 7.
Okay.
And I like working with smaller casts because they're easier to place on stage. If you have too many more than 7, you become a traffic cop. But it's a cast of 7, and they are all very well suited to the roles that they've been cast in.
Are they from all over Middle Tennessee, all in Mount Juliet? Where are they from?
I would say every single one of the actors is from Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
They are all professional actors. They've all done theater with some of the more renowned theater companies in Nashville, and we're just lucky to have them.
How long have you been practicing?
Oh, we started, what day is it? This is March.
It's been about 3 weeks.
It's been about 3 weeks, yeah.
Are you another week going to get it all polished up?
I think so. Yeah. I think we're almost there.
Yeah. Ann Street Kavanaugh,
Yes.
What do you see from this? I guess you've attended a few practices. You know all about this as well. We're trying to get people interested in this. What's something interests people coming to see this?
I think if you would like an evening where you are just taken out of everyday life, you're being thrown into a woman's. There's tragedy in this play. I don't want to give too much of it away, but just to be in, and especially for women, I think a lot of it will resonate with women. Just to have a very emotional time, your 2 hours that you're with us, and to just be out of whatever's going on in your life. There is a bit of humor in it, and it's just a very emotional show and touching.
How appropriate is this for children and even?
I wouldn't bring any children, honestly. No, our next show that'll be after this, we'd love to have kids there, but I would not bring children to this. Anyone under 13, I don't think.
All right, Playhouse 615. How many people can you seat?
We sat 60 during our last production. But generally, if we need to seat 60, we can seat 60. They'll be cramped, but we'll get you in there.
Well, that brings up something just off the top of my head here. You've got a number of performances. Would you rather play to a smaller audience, like 60 people, and do it several times than to have 2 or 3 where you had 200 or 300? Have you ever thought about? I mean, you've got to adapt to what your facility allows, but
Right.
But I'm thinking that if you have a fairly small audience, then they tell people you got longevity here.
Well, I'll say this. When you have 15 people seated in a 60-seat theater company, a 60-seat facility, it looks a lot fuller than if you had 15 people seated in a theater that seats 300.
Yeah, that's true.
But will tickets be available at the door?
Yes, absolutely.
You can get them in advance, but at the door is fine.
Absolutely.
And $20 is the cost of admission.
Yes, 17 for seniors, students, or military.
All right, $20 and $17.
Yes,
depending on your category.
And you can buy them through our website as well.
Your website,
And we're even on Eventbrite, but you save a little money if you do it through our website.
All right. Well, I think we've covered this fairly well, but it's good to have all three of you with us here, and it seems like you're going to be busy for really the whole month of April here, starting
The
on
whole
the 5th,
year.
ending on the 28th. So,
Nonsense is next.
what?
Nonsense will be our next show after this.
Well,
It's a
tell us
musical.
just a little bit about that.
It's about 5 nuns. It's habit forming, and it is a musical. And these women have their chef, Sister Julia,
Child of God. Sister
Julia, Child of God. She has made some bad vichyssoise, and they killed all the nuns except for these 5. These are the only ones who are still with us, and they buried all the women, but then the Mother Superior thought it'd be a good idea to buy a big HD TV, so she spent the rest of the money that was supposed to be used to bury the last nuns, remaining ones, so they're in the freezer. And they're putting on a show to raise money to bury the rest of these sisters. And
When's that coming up?
It opens May the 12th.
May the 12th.
Okay. Well, you don't have too much time to go from one to the other.
And they're already in rehearsals for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're about out of time here. It is Playhouse 615 on Lebanon Road in Mount Juliet. Hedda Gabler, written by Heinrich Ibsen, and the adaptation done by Erin Grace. And you can see it starting next Friday, April 5th through the 28th. Fridays and Saturdays, 7:30 and 2:30 p.m. on Sundays at the theater. And Joel Merriweather, Erin Grace, and Street Kavanaugh, thank you all for being with us today.
Thank you, Coleman.
Have a nice weekend. Until Monday, I wish you a fantastic day.